Who's the most famous person that's ever slid into your DMs?
Probably Tyga.
What did Tyga say to you?
Weird things. Show your boobs. Show your butthole.
Why are you lying? I will put dildos on this podcast right now. OnlyFans is something, you don't do that?
Maybe eventually.
I wish I could do that.
Really?
I wouldn't feel comfortable showing my butthole on camera either.
Just like, I'm not interested and you're weird. Like, I don't know you.
Hello? How do you make your money?
Very vulgar, like sexual things.
Whole ass only?
Yeah.
What?
I just don't care, so.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Don't Be Sour, the most, I always try to say some like witty thing that like relates to the person.
Oh. I don't really have like a brand like that.
The most family friendly podcast in the world. This one, big number, episode 22 with Miss Claudia Walsh. Woo! Welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. Excited to be here.
This one's gonna be an interesting because normally I sit down for like solid 30 to 40 minutes. I do a little research on the person, try to find maybe some interviews and some background stuff so that I can kind of dive deep and make sure that people are learning a little bit different stuff about you. But I didn't have as much time today.
Yeah.
I didn't have as much time. It's poor time management on my end. So
that's okay. It was the last second thing.
Yeah. We're going to wing a lot of it.
Okay.
But it's 9:15 in the morning. So we're not going to be ripping any shots.
No shots today. Sorry to disappoint.
But you're like, you're a big drinker, right?
Not anymore. No, I used to be like, I went through a whole phase of life, like a whole year, I feel like, where I partied and drank. And my shots got up there. I could take like 8 in a night, like big shots and be fine. But no, then I got older, I'm 25, I'll be 26 this year. And if I drink 4 shots, I'll wake up throwing up the next morning. So
I love that. Just make sure you don't throw up blood.
That's bad. Yeah. Don't want that.
Yeah, no, you don't want that. So tell the people who you are, Claudia. What do you do? I always say if you're in an Uber somewhere on a long trip and the Uber driver asks what you do in life, what do you say? What do you identify as?
I guess I just say I'm a YouTuber. That's kind of like the main thing that I am. Yeah, a YouTuber. I don't know. I say like my whole family's on YouTube. My boyfriend's on YouTube. I try not to like dive too deep if I'm telling an Uber driver because creepy people out there. But yeah, I don't have a podcast anymore. I used to say that too. That ended recently, not for any bad reason, but yeah. So I just make vlogs on YouTube. My family does it and it kind of grew pretty quickly. Yeah. My sister, actually originally my mom started it all. My mom's a body painter. So she would paint naked women. If you ever need someone to paint your logo, your Sour Chips logo on some naked women and have them at an event.
Specifically naked women.
Well, yeah, I mean, men too.
Well,
men too.
So I definitely wanted, so kind of before you're kind of diving into the question I wanted to ask is one of the many super interesting things about you is your family dynamic because you're probably, I think a lot of people every now and then maybe they're everyone's on like social media these days. Everyone maybe aspires to be an influencer of some sort, and then maybe they date someone who's an influencer, and there's kind of this like interesting dynamic. But you're a unique specimen because your whole family are social media stars.
Yeah,
like
even my parents.
Mom, dad, sister, brother.
Literally. Well, when I was younger, my brother. So I had 2 stepbrothers. I have a brother, an older brother, and a younger sister. And we would, in my dad's basement, my brother would take this little camcorder and he would make us film YouTube videos, like weird things, like weird ideas. Like I was probably like 12 years old, 10 years old, like really young.
And how old's your brother?
He's 27.
Oh, so he was like making YouTube videos before it was like a thing to make YouTube videos.
Yeah, like back when like, there was like Jenna Marbles and like only like the few select YouTubers that were like trendy and I don't know. So we would do that just for fun because we like loved YouTube. We would watch all these YouTube videos. A lot of people didn't really know like what YouTube was and they wouldn't watch it regularly like that. But I had like favorite creators and like beauty creators I would watch. And I always told myself like when I get older, like I want to do this. Like at some point I'm going to do this when I have like the money to get like a camera or like when I have like the balls basically to do it because it was kind of like people would make fun of you if you did something like that.
And you were also 12. So
I was really young. Yeah. But I always like had this thought in my mind that I wanted to do it. I was like obsessed with the idea of it. I always looked up to people that did it. And then when the opportunity presented itself, my mom, she did that. She did body painting. She got into social media and she had my brother and my sister helping her. So my sister was her assistant. My brother and his two best friends would film and edit the clips, and like she painted Bradley Martin for like God of War, I think it was.
Can you explain? Can you dive a little deeper into what? The podcast is about you, but I want to give kind of background. Can you explain when you say like body painting?
Mm-hmm. So my mom's an artist. She's a makeup artist, and she's just extremely talented in every other like aspect of art. She can draw really well. So she started painting bodies basically for events like football events. She would paint Ravens jerseys on women, and they would go and be a walking billboard. That's what she likes to call it. So I don't want anyone to think it's like a sexualized thing, because she was really big on it not being that way. But she painted Body World. So she painted like a really like muscular guy.
What's Body World?
Body Worlds was like a thing at the Science Center where you go and see like these, how do I explain it? Like they would like take the skin off of like muscles and stuff and show them on display, like preserved bodies, like literally human bodies, every single part of them. So she painted this guy, like every detailed muscle on his body, like to look like he didn't have skin and it was just the muscle. And like different things like that, like really creative, crazy ideas that you would never think of. And like a lot of it was painting them to look like they were wearing real clothes. Like she didn't want it to look like paint.
Right.
It was supposed to look like you're wearing a t-shirt. So she did that a lot for events, and then she started doing it for social media. So like, I'm trying to think of some of the things. Like she would paint jeans on a girl, and the girl would go out in public to the mall, and they would film this girl walking around and get people's reactions.
I wonder if I've ever seen stuff like. I wonder if I've ever seen.
You might have, yeah. A lot of them like went viral.
I've seen these crazy videos. It's like they're wearing pants, but they're not wearing pants. Paint pants.
Yep. So she did that for a while, and then my sister is also extremely talented, and she decided to make an Instagram profile where she was painting her face, like really cool things. Like she painted like a zipper down her face. And
your sister was painting
herself? My younger sister.
Okay.
So she did that, and that took off, and she got a lot of followers. So like her and my mom were like hitting it off, like doing really well on social media.
Paint people.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then my sister was graduating high school, and she had prom and graduation, and she decided to vlog it. And she was like, I'm just going to make a YouTube channel and post it and see what happens. And literally her first 2 videos of prom and graduation blew up. Like they did so well because it was so relatable. A lot of young girls out there were in that same like phase of life. So they were all watching it and relating.
Yeah.
And my sister's she has a good personality. She's like a really like easy person to watch and relate to, I guess. So that worked out. And then after that, my brother jumped on the bandwagon, decided to make a YouTube channel, and he kind of centered it more around like family, our crazy family. We lived in this small little house together, all of us. So we kind of had like a really cool, different dynamic. And then I was in nursing school and also working at a restaurant as a server. And I was like, I don't want to do this anymore. I don't want to work as a server, and I need money. So I decided to jump on the bandwagon as well. And then we're all doing it, and it kind of just all worked out because like it was like a domino effect. Like one of us blew up after the other. And I mean, I wouldn't say I blew up. I kind of slowly grew, but it worked well. And within a few months, I started making money and getting brand deals, and I was able to stop working at the restaurant I was working at. And that was like literally the best feeling, because I'd been working since I was probably 14 years old, just, regular jobs. I worked at a frozen yogurt shop, a pizza shop, a restaurant for 3 years, waiting tables. And this was all going through like nursing school and everything too. So it was hard. It was a lot of work. And it was a really good feeling the day that I was like, you know what? I am making enough money and I can quit this job.
When people work specific jobs, they get tired of the thing that they make. So like if you worked at pizza places and frozen yogurt, do you not like eating pizza and frozen yogurt because you ate so much for years? Or
I mean, I will say like the frozen yogurt place was fine because it was like candy and stuff. You can't really get sick of that. But definitely like the restaurant I worked at, I was just like, this food is gross. Like it wasn't gross. It was really good food. But because I was around it all the time, I was just like, ew, like I don't want to eat this.
I worked at it was a pharmacy, but we had a soda fountain. It was like an old school pharmacy. It's called an apothecary. Not too many of them kind of these days, but there was like steak and cheeses and stuff I would make. And you would think I would make a steak and cheese probably for 7 years in a row. Like
a cheesesteak?
Yeah.
A steak and cheese.
What?
Like a cheesesteak.
Whatever. It doesn't, cheesesteak, steak and cheese. And I would make them for like 7 years, and you think I get tired of it. But like some people, I interviewed Ronnie Coleman. He worked at Domino's forever, ate Domino's. Now he's like, I never eat Domino's again.
Yeah.
So it's like, sometimes it taints people. But me, I'm like, I still love to eat the same food.
Yeah.
That really had no point to the story I was trying to trying to give.
It brings you back. It's nostalgic.
Yeah. So, okay. And then your dad also is somewhat on social media, right? He has a YouTube channel.
Mm-hmm. So when my brother made the family videos and he started realizing that it was taking off because he was doing that, he started including like my dad and my mom in it a lot, just depending on the video, like whatever the video was centered around. So like he did, which one was it? I think it was like a sorority video or something. And my dad was like the leader of it, or fraternity, something like that. Like my dad would play, he's really good at acting, honestly. And he used to say that he wanted to be an actor. Like if he didn't have kids, he like would have went to like California. I think he said that, or I'm making it up.
I wanted to follow my dreams, but then I had all of you guys.
Yeah, really. That's what he says.
Thanks, Dad.
He doesn't care. But yeah, he's really good at like playing roles if you want him to, and he loves it. Like he has so much fun with it. And it honestly was a way for us all to like spend a lot of time together and like bond. And like it brought us a lot of like really cool opportunities that we wouldn't have had if we weren't filming. Like we went to really cool places and went on trips together, and just all kinds of things. So I mean, my brother, I will say he's not doing it as much anymore. He's kind of like rebranding, he likes to say.
Who?
My brother.
Your brother.
His channel, his family channel that has a ton of family videos on it. But just because we don't live together anymore, and then we were all going through a phase where we drank a lot and would party, and he would film that. But no one really wants to do that anymore because everyone's like older and can't handle it. So he's kind of changing it up.
The lamer you get.
Literally. But I mean, I love it.
Yeah.
I can't complain. I like being healthy, not feeling hungover and sick every morning. So
everyone, you like the idea of like going out, and then when you're out, you're like, I love this. And then
and then the next morning you're like, why did I do that? It wasn't even fun. Even though in the moment you're like having a lot of fun. And
you're like, I'm never gonna do this again until next Friday.
Yeah, it's just a once in a while kind of thing now. I can't.
So your whole social media world essentially started because of your mom?
Pretty much, yeah.
So your mom was the original
She's
Walsh,
the OG.
The social media star.
Yeah. She kind of became a local celebrity in our small town that we live in Maryland. She just would go on the radio a lot. And it's funny, I was just listening to her on a podcast episode the other day, or Devorah had her on her podcast. And I was listening to it. And it's like, it reminded me of when she used to be on the radio all the time, like our local radio station. They would have her on and she would body paint these women while being on the radio. And
can you just hear her painting right now, guys? Everyone in their car, listen to her paint strokes.
Like, they would do like a live stream so everybody could watch.
Okay.
But then the other people that weren't watching, they could just like, I guess they would listen on their commute to work. But she became like a local celebrity because of that. So when she would go to these big events, like, you know, when there's an event in our like small town area, I feel like everyone that's like into that type of thing will go there. So she knew everyone. Like anytime I'd meet someone, they'd be like, I know your mom. And I'm just like, cool. Yeah, everyone does.
So what's it like? So I've never met a family where like the whole family is on social media, whether it be on YouTube, Instagram, whatever, but not just like my mom has an Instagram. She'll comment all the time and end it with Max's mom. But my mom is not an Instagrammer. Your whole family, like, what's it like? What's the dynamic of that world where, so, you know, there's always like I'm going to be on, I'm going to be off of like my social media kind of personality, right? Mm-hmm. But in a family when everyone, like there's no timing of, all right, guys, like Saturdays we don't film or Sundays we don't film. Like what's it like to be surrounded by your sister, brother, mom, dad, all trying to make content at probably like the same time?
I mean, honestly, it wasn't too bad because we never really changed who we were on camera. Like we kind of already were that way. Like sometimes we'd play it up and everything, but it kind of actually at some point my brother would make a schedule and he'd be like, are you guys cool with filming these few days for my videos? But like my dad, for example, he just will film like our casual family time and he has like just his little vlog camera that he brings out. And we're all like totally fine and we help him out. We film it. Like we'll go to his house to spend time with him, like for his birthday recently we did. And we all just take turns like filming different things because his videos aren't anything crazy. They're just like a small little vlog. So that's like, it's just kind of like casual. And then I don't know, we all help each other out. So like if I needed my brother and sister to be in a vlog of mine, I'm like, hey, are you guys free this day? And then we kind of just film us hanging out. So it wasn't like, I don't know, like it wasn't like too much of a big production. My brother's videos were mostly like that. So we just would like schedule his time and then everyone else just kind of would do whatever vlog normal.
Is there any sort of, I wouldn't say animosity would rather be the right word, but is there any of like, someone's not like shouting me out or like, wow, this person, like, is there like, what's the dynamic of like someone's gaining more popularity than someone else, does that ever cause like jealousy within the family at all? Or
I don't think so. Just because my brother, we all knew that he was the one. He's very like driven, hardworking, willing to put in all of his time and energy. So because he's that way, it's like we all know he deserves to be like the biggest. You know what I mean? He's trying the hardest. And then I don't know. We're not like that. Like we're a very like loving family. I feel like my mom raised us to be like really loving and close and honest with each other. And like, it's the type of thing, it's like, I don't know if you ever feel a certain way towards someone, but you're like, I don't know them well enough, or like, I'm not comfortable enough to just say it to their face how I really feel. It was never like that. Like if my brother was like trying to film and I didn't feel like filming, I'm like, I'm not filming today. Leave me alone. Get out of my face. And he's just like, okay.
The true brother-sister dynamic comes through.
Yeah. Like we never lost that. It's not really like, it never became like business over family and like our normal relationship. So I never really had to worry about that. I can't even think of a time when we got in like an argument over anything that had to do with YouTube. It was mostly just me and my sister saying like, we don't feel like filming today, so we're not. And he's like,
okay. But I need you for the thumbnail.
He'd be like, please, I'll go get food with you and buy you lunch. And we're just like, fine, whatever.
Like, I need you for 45 seconds so I can make a title out of this.
I know. He would like bug us. So he did interviews, and it was funny because we all lived in my mom's house before. We started to become successful on YouTube, but before anyone was ready to kind of move out and do their own thing, we all lived in this small little townhouse, and he would do interviews for his videos, and the interviews took place after the fact. So he would edit the video and then be like, okay, I need you to say this then. And like, it kind of was like reality show style. So he would have us come down. Like I'd be up in my room, like ready to go to bed. And he's like, I need to get this interview. You need to come down. And I would come down and put sunglasses on because I looked so bad. And I'm like, I'm not ready to be on camera. And I always regretted it too, because I'm like, why didn't I just get ready? There was one video, I literally was so shocked it was even me. I was like, why do I look like that on camera? Because I was like, my hair was wet from the shower and I had like glasses on, and I was just like, it was so bad. But yeah, so that was like the only really thing that ever got to be annoying about it, was it just like when we didn't feel like doing it. But
well, I think a lot of time when you said like, oh, I didn't like, I should have gotten ready. It's sometimes weird to think like you just turn on the camera and you're going to film this thing, but you don't like process sometimes like, oh, this, whatever I'm about to film, like I'm going to be out for tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands. Yeah. Maybe it blows up and 1 million people are going to see me.
Yep.
And like, so maybe I should spend 2 minutes like doing my hair or something. Like I think that a lot. I'm like, I'm not going to get ready for this like video, this segment. I was like, you never know who's going to be seeing this, you know?
I just always regret it because I film myself. So I like vlog, and then I'm like, I vlog myself like after the gym. I'm like, why did I choose to do this at this time when I am like, my hair's a mess and I have no makeup on?
It's real though.
That's the thing. Like that's what during the week, I don't like to wear makeup. I literally hate wearing it. I hate putting it on.
Same. Yeah. So strictly weekends. Only if Taylor asked me to go out for a nice dinner on Saturdays.
Yeah. I hate wearing it. It's annoying. So I try not to a lot, and that's when I film my videos, is during the week. So I'm just like, whatever.
Actually, side tangent here. I feel like this is relatable stuff, interesting for guys. Why do girls hate wearing makeup? Tell me the hates of makeup. Maybe the girls listening be like, yes.
Literally. So if you're wearing makeup, you can't really touch your face. So like normally, like during the day, especially if I'm tired, I'll be like rubbing my eyes and everything. You can't do that. You can't touch your face. So if
Jesse goes to like,
oh, that too.
Hey, sweetie, and you're like, stop it.
Oh, the amount of times I yell at him in the video, like I'll have my hair done and I'm like, he'll put his arm like around me on my hair and I'm like, get off my hair. And then like I'll have lip gloss on and he's like trying to kiss me and I'm like, no. I literally just finished putting this on. You're not about to take it off. So yeah, that's a struggle, but it's just annoying and it gets itchy, and it's like imagine if you just put a layer of like paint on your face. Like you don't want to touch it to mess it up.
Your mom does it
like,
all the time, right?
Yeah, apparently. No, that was like a struggle too for her. People would always be like sweating, dripping the paint off in their armpits and stuff. But yeah, so that's the annoying thing about wearing makeup. And then you have to wash it off at the end of the day. When you're really tired and you just want to get in bed, but you have to stand there and scrub your eyes and get it all off and wash your face, and so you don't get acne while you're sleeping.
This is I posted on my story the other day. Taylor was like fell asleep at like the hotel. And I did this joke story about like, oh, she's like has a face full of makeup. Should I wake her up? And all the girls like, yes. So it's you do not go to sleep with makeup on.
That's so bad for your skin. I mean, you'll wake up with like
what happened? Like
you'll get acne, pimples, wake up pimples all over your face. It's just like, I feel like it's wearing dirt and oil on your face to bed. And you don't want that all over your pillow and everything.
I'm thinking at some point we're going to get to technology. Okay. I'm thinking by 2025.
Or just a stamp.
You do your makeup look, all right? You send it into a lab. You take this cast, kind of like you would with like a like an Invisalign or something. And then at some point they're going to send you back this thing. And then each day you can just, and you're just going to stamp your face.
Literally, the amount of times I think that, and I'm like, I really wish I could just like smack it on and then it's on. And then at the end of the day, I just peel it off. But I feel like that would be like pretty crazy to see. Like imagine you're dating a girl and you like never seen her without it. And then she just pulls her mask off.
Well, that's why I think the internet thing is always whenever you
take them swimming on the first date.
Take them swimming on the first date, right?
It's so stupid though, because unless like the girl's really wearing like a shit ton of makeup, I feel like most girls look pretty similar.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. I don't feel like I look that different. I still have eyebrows and eyelashes and
I still have eyebrows.
Some people don't have eyebrows when they take their makeup off.
What's your thoughts on the like painted eyebrows? Is that a thing?
Like the ones that are like really thick, like Nike check
swooshes?
Marks? Yeah. Yeah, I'm not like big into that. I don't know. I prefer to look more natural than not. Like I feel like today's a day that I have a lot of makeup on. So, I mean, this is like the most I really do. I don't really go all crazy and put a lot of like black eyeliner or like anything like that. I don't know. I just think most people look better.
Okay.
Their true selves.
That was a good makeup breakdown. The first ever on the Don't Be Sour. So ending out with your family, it's super cool kind of, seeing, your mom is essentially the Bob Ross of body paint.
Yeah.
Right? I watched a video and she was like painting like a mountain on her stomach.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, she paints it on herself upside down in like a mirror. She does that too.
Yeah, she's painted on herself. She's been through a lot. She's done all kinds of things.
It's kind of wild. And so you guys live in Maryland, East Coast, DMV kind of thing. That's DC, Maryland, Virginia, by the way. I used to live in Virginia. And as someone that's from the East Coast, lived very close to where you did, most people who are in the influencer world, right? They pick up the camera, everyone starts falling in love with them. Oh, we have your... You cold?
Cold?
No.
You're not?
No. Why are you bringing me a jacket?
Stop assuming what she wants, man.
You don't want it?
This is the problem with guys, right? They just assume.
Do
I look cold?
Look, Jesse just wants to shout out everyone. Jesse James Less, his link's gonna be down in the description.
I know, right? Stop interrupting.
Now I can put him on the thumbnail. So you're from Maryland. Now most people, when they get stardom online, the first thing they want to do, I want to go to LA. I want to go where dreams are made, and you are kind of the opposite. You don't want to move to, like, it doesn't have to be LA, but you're very happy with where you live in Maryland.
Yeah. So I feel like there was one point, my brother and sister actually lived in Tampa, Florida for a little while. They had an apartment there and we would go visit them. Like my mom and me would go and stay there for a few days. And I liked that. And I liked Florida, but
why did they live there real quick?
They just like wanted a change, and they were, that's kind of like when they became successful in YouTube. I was still in nursing school, so I couldn't go anywhere.
Okay.
And they both just decided to live in an apartment together for a while. Actually, my brother had a girlfriend there at the time, so that's kind of why he went. And my sister was like craving change because all of her friends were going to college, and she was stuck home because she decided to do YouTube and not go to college. So they moved there, and I got to experience kind of like them living there, I guess, and like a little bit of living there when I would stay there with them. And there was a point when I thought like, okay, maybe we'll move to Florida or something like that. But honestly, I've come to realize that everywhere you go, at least most places I've been in the US, they all kind of feel very similar to me in terms of like what it is like outside. I mean, aside from the fact that some places stay warm all year round, but I don't really mind the seasons as much. And one thing I'm really big on is my family. And if I'm gonna, have a family of my own and everything, I really want my family to be like my kids to be raised around my mom and my sister. So I will not be going anywhere that my family is not.
Okay.
And then also, I did go to LA for a weekend. That's the only time I've ever been there. One weekend.
You've only been one time?
One time.
What?
And I will say it was a very, very eventful weekend. I got to do a lot of cool, crazy, very LA things. So it was me and my best friend Devora. We went, and when we landed, I decided to reach out to Logan Paul and be like, "Hey, I'm in LA." I was single at the time.
And he was like, "Hey, a girl, open."
Yeah. So we ended up hanging out with him and Mike Malak for.
Wait, before you tell this story, your boyfriend's sitting behind you. Does he know this story? Before
he
you're
does.
Like, before he perks up.
No, he knows. I made a whole podcast episode about it when me and my best friend had our podcast. But because we decided to reach out and hang out with them, we were also staying at this house. This was a whole story, but we signed with a company for our podcast. Me and my best friend started our podcast, and we signed with this management company, and they wanted us to come to LA because they got an estate. It was like a big house with a lot of land.
It's a fancy word for big house.
Yeah, in LA. So it was honestly ended up being a really cool experience because they were throwing this party for their talent, like all of their podcasts that they have. And we went to this house and stayed there, and it ended up being that when we went to hang out with Mike and Logan and they were like, let's go to this party, they brought us back to the house we were staying at, and we're like, this is our house, this is where we're staying. But it ended up being like a really big party. And one of the other nights, it happened to be like the Grammys or something, so Diplo was having a Grammy party.
Casual. Like I was at
what was that party? Diplo Grammy party. But no, it was really funny because so a friend of mine who lives in LA and is a pretty big like influencer, he sent me this email sign up, like a private email sign up, and he was like, sign up on this list and you will get to go to this party. They'll put you on the list. And I was like, okay, like we'll see what happens. So I did, and of course, like Logan Paul and all of them were going to the same party, and they're like, oh, cool, like we'll see you there. And me and Devore sign up, and I'm like thinking nothing of it. And then the friend that I know texts me, and he's like, they told me that I got like kicked off the list because there's too many people. So like, I'm not going, like, don't show up, you won't get let in. And I was like, well, I didn't get that email, so I'm going to give it my best shot.
Yeah.
So we get this 45-minute Uber out to Malibu, the middle of nowhere, basically.
Was your friend that got kicked off the list, was he a guy or another girl?
A guy. That explains it. But he's a bigger guy. Which
I wanted to say, you're like, I reached out to Logan Paul, he DM'd back. I've DM'd Logan Paul a couple times. Yeah, never. If I went to LA, no one's inviting me to a party. Logan Paul's not inviting me to a party.
Well, it's funny because I actually had DM'd him a few times before. Like as a joke, my brother.
Why were you DMing Logan Paul?
My brother would watch his videos, and I was like, as a joke one time, I think I was like, let me like say something random to him that shows him like I was watching his video and see if he answers. And I said something like, give me your hoodie. Like he had some hoodie on that it was like, I don't know. And he ended up answering it. And then he said something like the typical line of like, let me know when you're in LA or something like that. So like a year later, I think it was.
So you're telling me you wanted to test to see if a guy would answer a DM from an attractive girl,
a famous guy.
I just want to see. I don't know if he would.
Well, there's a lot of celebrities out there, like bigger guys who wouldn't. You know, I mean, I probably have gotten a good amount of like celebrity DMs in the day, but not anyone I'd be like interested in.
Who's the most famous person that's ever slid into your DMs?
Probably Tyga. He like he slides into like every girl's DMs. I don't know. It's weird.
What did Tyga say to you?
He would just respond to like photos with like fire emojis. And one time he asked me like what I was doing for like Thanksgiving, I think it was, or like New Year's. I don't know.
Eating cranberry sauce? What are you doing,
I know.
Tyga?
I was like, I think I was kind of rude back because I was just like, I'm not interested and you're weird. Like I don't know you and you're like, I don't know.
Kind of strange.
I think it's because he has like an OnlyFans where he puts a bunch of girls on it. So I think that's like how he scouts them. Maybe. I don't know.
Okay, we're
going off track here.
You're going to this party that your guy friend for some reason couldn't get invited to, but you did.
He got booted. So we show up and we end up like going on this 45-minute drive in like $150 Uber. And we're like, can you imagine we pull up and we don't get let in? But we end up showing up and there's a lady outside with a clipboard, this beautiful mansion in Malibu. And I go up and I'm like, hi. And she's like, what's your name? And I give it to her and she's like, have fun. And I'm like, oh my God, we just got into Diplo's Grammy party. This is amazing. So we go in and it ends up being like, obviously like every influencer celebrity, like the higher up people, like David Dobrik was there and Lil Nas X was there and like all these people. And me and Devore just walking around casually, like acting like we don't know who anybody is. Meanwhile, I'm like, did you see who that was? It was pretty funny. But yeah, that was a really fun weekend because we got to really experience like the LA lifestyle without, you know, having to spend too much time there. But I will say, the whole time I was there, I was like, I could never live in this like atmosphere. It's very like cliquey and girls are very rude because they're used to people wanting to use them for who they are. And like, you know, we're from Maryland, from the East Coast. We don't really know that. We just know how to be like, you're respectful to someone if they're respectful to you. And we would be nice. And like Devore offered this girl a shot one time. I think we were at the party, one of the parties, and she was like, you want to take a shot with us? And then the girl was like, no, I'm good. And I'm just like, oh my God, where are we? Like, it's like, it really feels like a different world.
Yeah.
Like it's totally different.
It's like a social climbing type of thing.
Yeah. And if you're not like at the top, no one respects you and they don't give a shit about you and they don't want to be your friend. They don't want to be nice to you. Like, but then if you are at the top, you see everyone's like going up to the people like Addison Rae and they're like being all nice and trying to be friends and whatever else. And So yeah, it's a different life out there, and I don't think I could ever do it because I'm sensitive.
That's good. As much as I think LA is cool, beautiful weather, beautiful people, beautiful homes. I was actually just there like 2 days ago filming a podcast, but I'm like, yeah, I can never do it. I like,
no.
And something you said, this is another tangent. We're going on tangent. This is great though. You said, you're like, I realize every area I go to, it's just kind of the same thing.
Yeah.
I used to have this theory. I don't know if it's called a theory, but a thing in my head where I never wanted to move out of Virginia because I was like, why would I move? I was like, everywhere you go, there's just a Lowe's, a Chick-fil-A. Right. I was like, it's the same shit everywhere. So I'm like, I go where the people are. Yeah. If my friends are here, why am I going to move to somewhere else? And okay, so you're going to stay in Maryland indefinitely?
I mean, we'll see how it goes, but I'm sure, I don't know. I just have so many people that I care about being around that I feel like unless they all decided like, let's all join together and go somewhere else. But I feel right now I don't feel the need to. Okay. And Jesse's family's in New Jersey, so they're not too far from us either. You know, we can drive to them if we want to, and they can drive and visit us. And so that's just for now. That's the plan. And Jesse's accepted that I'm not moving out of Maryland anytime soon. So I told him, I was like, you can get
Have you accepted that, Jesse?
I was like, get a house in Miami if you want, and you can go stay there as much as you want, and we can go back and forth or something. But I just don't want to like pick up and move. I just don't have a reason to. You know what I mean? You said like go where the people are, where your friends are. And like here, I feel like you have such a good thing. You know, you have this whole community of people. And I mean, this is great. I think it's amazing. But that's kind of like what we have there in Maryland. Like I have all my people.
You're super close to your family and your family is big and like.
Yeah, if they weren't in like social media, maybe it'd be different just because, you know, that's what we're doing. Me and Jesse, I mean. And just it makes it easier that we're all doing it. If we weren't, I probably wouldn't feel so inclined. Like maybe I would feel like I had to go where like the content is or something, but I don't know. I just have all of them. Like if I need anyone's help, if I need someone to be in my vlog or something, I can just ask my sister or my best friend or my brother.
So you do YouTube full time. That's, you know, I know you said it's a benefit of having everyone around you, but you mentioned you were in nursing school.
Yes.
You left nursing school.
No, I graduated.
Oh, you did?
I'm a registered nurse in Maryland.
An RN?
Yeah, I'm an RN. And actually, I was thinking recently I might start doing online school because I never did get my bachelor's. So I have an associate's degree in nursing. Okay. So I'm a registered nurse, but it's RN and then you have to get your BSN usually. That's what most nurses do. All the big hospitals want everyone to have a BSN. And I don't know, I graduated in 2019 and
so you did 2 years of your associates, right? Or two,
yeah, so 2. So total 4, obviously with prerequisites and everything. Right, okay. But the program was 2 years, 2 years of absolute torture and hell, I will say. And I made it out and I took my NCLEX, which is like the board's exam for nursing. And so I got my license, and it's kind of around the time that COVID happened. A lot of my friends started their career during COVID, their nursing career. And I also was just taking off on YouTube. So I was like, it's kind of like pick and choose right now if I want to dedicate all my time to that or to YouTube. And YouTube was going so well. And I was like, I don't see the need to. And some parts of me misses it. And like, I can't say I regret not doing it because I can do it if I want to. Like right now I could still go get a job if I really wanted to. I'm just happy that I finished it and I didn't quit or that wasn't an option. Like when I got into school, you know, I didn't do really well in high school because I simply didn't care. And my mom was like, how do you expect to do well in nursing school? And then, you know, I did good in college and I got accepted, and that was a really big deal, getting accepted into nursing school. And then I was like, I'm going to make it out. Like, I'm going to prove to everyone, like, I am capable of doing this. And it was really, really, really hard and mentally draining. But, you know, I made it out. So, yeah, now I'm a nurse.
Yeah. Well, I don't know why, for some reason, I thought that you
I feel like that's what most people do.
Well, like, so I guess I'll twist that into, so you graduated, got you're an RN. What was what kind of went through your mind? Because obviously a lot of people, it's different. Maybe you're newer into the social media. You've been doing it for like 4 or 5 years. Your YouTube goes back about 4 years. I've been doing YouTube for like 10, right? So when I started, it was very uncommon to make social media your career. And so then even when I quit my job in 2016, I'd been doing social media for about 3 years while also working a full-time job. And when I had the conundrum in my head of like, do I keep doing this? This is my career, working a job. Like this is like normal social media. I'm making enough money to survive. I'm making more to my job, whatever. And then even when I told my mom I was going to quit, she's like, I don't think you should do that. You should follow your, because it wasn't normal.
Yeah.
you're kind of in a different generation where it's more accepted. It's more understanding that you can make great money. But even then you probably still had the question of like, is this going to last for me? Is this the best decision? What happens down the road? Am I like, I don't want to say, am I giving up on my dreams of being a nurse? But like what went through your mind of the decision of, okay, I graduated, I could continue to do more schooling, which you still might do. But like, why did you make the leap towards YouTube rather than either just doing nursing or being like, I'm going to be the first ever super popular YouTuber that is a nurse as well? Not that you aren't a nurse, but like, to do it as a profession.
I think it honestly was just probably mostly just about the fact that I was making a lot of money. And also I really obviously love doing YouTube. Being an influencer is a lot of fun. You have a lot of free time. You make your own schedule. You can do whatever. I keep looking at this camera. So I'm like, they think I'm staring in their eyes, but I'm so used to looking. I'm so used to looking at the camera, like when I have to like film for people and stuff. So
lock in right here.
Yeah. I just need to like look this way. What was I saying? I lost my train of thought.
You're deciding of, do I want to go to nursing or do YouTube or balance both?
It was mostly just the money, honestly. Like when I graduated, there was a point in time where because of COVID, a lot of things were delayed with like getting my license, and it kind of took almost a year for me to like officially get my license. Like you have like a license number you can look it up on the internet to see your license. And it was just like, it was such a process and it was so hard for me to get it that by that time I was like, I'm so invested. Oh, also the things that I would say in my brother's videos, I was like, I'm never going to get a damn job. Like he would make us say some crazy stuff. And like, honestly now, because there's so many creators that are also in the medical field, I think it's more accepted. But at the time I was like, I'm never going to get a job. Like in school, they really preached like to us being very professional and like what you put on the internet and everything. And not that anything is like bad necessarily. It's just
then they're like, hey, don't have an alcoholic drink in your Facebook photos.
Literally. Yeah. And meanwhile, I'm like drinking on my brother's channel and saying these like vulgar things that were like funny, but like it just wasn't, nursing professional Claudia. So I was like, I just feel like I lost my chance at it. And I kind of realized now that I didn't. If I really wanted to do it, I definitely could. But, my life on social media right now is bigger than I feel like nursing could be. And I kind of have a hard time imagining myself trying to wake up at 5 a.m. and going to the hospital after doing something like this. It just feels like, why am I doing this? Like, why am I wasting my time doing this? I could be home making a video that's going to make a few $1,000s on YouTube or something. So it would be more about the experience for me if I ended up doing it at any point in my life, which is kind of like part of the reason I want to take online classes is because you can lose your license, not lose it, but it'll go inactive if you're not actively like doing schooling or working in a hospital.
If you don't use it, you lose it.
Kind of. Yeah. I think you can like bring it back somehow. I need to look into it more, but I think I still have it for another couple of years. So there's no pressure, but
after another like 6 months, you'll be like, I think the IV just goes in straight like this.
Right. I know nothing. Like if I had to go be a nurse right now in a hospital, they teach you a lot in school, but like not enough. I don't know how to give an IV. They didn't teach us that in nursing school.
I've watched enough Nip Tuck to pretty much do a rhinoplasty and an IV for sure.
I've watched enough Grey's Anatomy that I could probably like diagnose you with some things, but no, that's actually why I went to nursing school in the first place. Grey's Anatomy was my favorite show.
Yeah.
So
I've never seen it.
Really?
I mean, I know what it is, and I've maybe in the background
Such a
I've watched.
Show.
Yeah, it's just
you probably. I feel like you might not like it.
His heart is exploding out of his chest again.
That's like what it is. Very dramatic.
And we're like, actually,
but I became obsessed with it, and I was like, this is the only thing I've ever felt interested in. So I mean, I really was good at it. I feel like I'm a very, my mom will say like a maternal person. Like I'm very like nurturing. I feel like
I get like a caring. Persona
like
from
I used to nanny and like I took care of this little boy from the time he was like 1.5 until he was like 3.5 or something. So I don't know. And I was like a little mom. Like I feel like I acted like a little mom, like especially when I was in school and I was nannying, also working at the restaurant, and just, I don't know. I've always been that way, like very like to take care of people type of personality. So I feel like that's why I really liked nursing. I'm very like compassionate. I feel like I can like empathize with a lot of people and the things that they're going through. And so yeah. But
your goals just kind of shifted. I mean, so nursing was something you're interested in. That was like what you wanted. It wasn't necessarily like, this is the only thing I can possibly do in my life. And then YouTube came out of nowhere. And I'm sure having a support system of your family that was like, like that they know, hey, you can make a living doing this.
Right.
Like it's okay if you don't do the nursing thing, like because you can always go back to nursing.
Yeah, I mean, my brother was like, you don't need that. Don't do that. I need you here.
Yeah, he's like, how am I going to get the titles and the thumbnails if you're in the ER?
Yeah. So, I mean, it's kind of just like having two passions and one is more beneficial to my life than the other at this time. So, I mean, if YouTube failed, I have nursing. It's there. So I would have a job.
As Eminem would say, success is the only motherfucking option. Failure's not.
Yeah.
Right? My boy Slim. And so with your whole YouTube trajectory and your social media growth, you've done a lot of different things. And one of the ones that you started was a podcast with your friend Devora, which first of all, I've never in my life heard someone named Devora. Yeah. My mom's name's Deborah. And I'm like, at first I was like, is she saying like Deborah? Like,
people will call her Devra. And I'm like, it's not Devra, it's Devora. Like I think it's a, like an Israeli name or something.
Cool name.
Yeah.
We love a good, unique name, but you started a podcast, which is you started YouTube, social media. Obviously you're big on Instagram. You started the podcast, but then, which was used to be called Free the Girls.
Yes.
Then you got hit with a copy or a trademark infringement from some loser. And then you changed it to Girls After Dark.
Yes.
Then you left.
Yep.
Why did you stop the podcast?
So we did, gosh, why do I forget now how many episodes it was? I'm blanking.
A lot.
Yeah, a lot. I think it was like 82.
But yours were a little bit different where like I'm very like an interview a person every time. Yes. Not that you didn't, but yours were like a casual with my best friend. Devorah's your best friend. Like we're shooting the shit.
It started off, the reason we did it was because honestly, I've always been a fan of Call Her Daddy, and anyone out there that knows, Call Her Daddy is a very like vulgar podcast where she kind of has shifted to interviews now, but she used to talk with her roommate or friend, whoever she was at the time, about just like these crazy stories with guys, like very vulgar, like sexual things. And me and Devorah on our own have always been like kind of like that, like to each other. Like we'll like talk about these crazy stories, or like we were both like single and going through crazy things at the time, like dating and whatever else and partying. So we decided to start a podcast one night. We were drunk and we were like, let's just do it. It'll be fun. Like, why not? Like, just for the fun of it. And it ended up doing really well. Like our episodes, like our first few, like really hit it off. Like we talked about, I think the first one is called Fucking with Fuckboys.
I was listening to it on the way here.
Yeah. It was,
and then 10 minutes into it, after you take an opening shot, which is interesting. Yeah. Now I want you guys to put some context, but I'm going to let you get back. I don't want to interrupt here, but you didn't want to do a shot this one, but you started that podcast episode off with a shot. And then 10 minutes in, Claudia just goes, but before we get to the next topic, I think we need to take another shot. You were just ripping shots all the time.
Oh yeah, we drank a lot. In the beginning of that podcast, we would just like get hammered at night, and we'd film it at night too. So it was a lot of fun. And at the time we both lived in the same apartment complex. So she would just like come down the stairs to my level and like come in, and we would do it in my kitchen, my little tiny apartment kitchen. And it was a lot of fun. And we did it for a really long time, like over a year and a half, I feel like. But it got to the point where we're both in relationships now. We're getting older, and it wasn't really taking off in the way that we would like hoped for. You know?
Your episodes were getting...
They were getting like
100...
No, they started to get to the point where they're getting like 50K, 40K.
Okay, I want you... Okay, before you go on, this is the problem. They're like... is you're so used to these high numbers now, like 40, 50K, that's a lot of views.
Yeah.
Like that's a lot.
Hear me out. It's not necessarily bad that we were getting those views, but our first few episodes have like 250, 200.
It's always going to pop in the beginning.
Yeah. But it was like dying off, but also we weren't really making like the type of money that is like going to support you from it. And we kind of like lost the passion. Like we no longer really had these crazy stories to talk about. We were talking about celebrity news, and we don't want to talk about that.
Dumb.
Like we don't care to talk about Kim K and whatever else is going on. So that part just kind of died off, and we were just, she came to me one day and was like, you know, I kind of feel like we both have lost the passion for it. And she really wanted to figure out like where it was going, because she wanted to figure out if she was going to kind of go off on her own and do something, or what was going to happen. And she ended up coming up with the idea that, you know, it was also a lot because I have my YouTube channel. I signed with Athlete as an athlete. So it's like, I had all these like things coming in, and I was like, I can't like focus my energy on that to make it to be what we want it to be. And I don't want to like half-ass something because I'm doing other things as well.
Whole ass only.
Exactly. So I was like, I can't do this. I can't give all my energy into it like I would want to, and I don't want her to put in more than I'm putting in. So it wasn't like going in the direction that we want.
Bit, right?
It was just like, this is how it kind of like rolled out. And then she ended up, it honestly worked out really well for the best. I need to stop looking at that.
Look at me, Claudia.
I know. She ended up taking over the channel and making it into her own. And it's become like an interview style podcast, except she wants to more so interview people that don't have a voice. So
she did one really, with a soldier,
I think
right?
He's not a Navy SEAL.
A military person.
He went to Afghanistan.
Yeah,
I've
subscribed to your podcast I think before I even started this, because I'm always interested to see what other creators are creating. So now I've seen how Devorah has taken it on her own. So you were fine, like with
I wanted her to, because it was the type of thing where I had all these other things going on, and then she was kind of like, okay, like I need to figure out what direction I'm going in. And she came to me with this idea, and I was like, honestly, take it, do something with the channel so it doesn't just sit there and rot and become nothing, become a waste. We built up nearly 100K subscribers, and I know they were all like really upset when we decided to end it. And I think it's great. She is still producing content for everyone to listen to, and I just see it going somewhere a lot bigger than what we were doing could have went. Just
are you gonna hop on as a guest periodically?
Maybe eventually, when there's like something interesting to talk about.
Soon on, like
no, just because we have so many episodes together. Like I feel like it would be like too familiar. So she's had some of the people that everyone always wanted us to have on. We didn't really have a lot of guests. It was kind of a hard thing for us to have guests because it's two of us, and our setup like didn't really fit a lot of people. So once in a while we would. But they always wanted my sister to come on, and like my mom and everything. So she's like hitting all of those people, but also including all these other really interesting people that have crazy lives that, most people wouldn't know about or get to listen to. Like the Afghanistan one, it's really interesting to hear like what really goes on over there when we're all just here living our lives and going about everything. And so, I think it's really great what she's doing with it. I'm happy she like took it and made it into something, and it's really working for her. So
the last thing on that topic is, were there any, I'm sure there were, but like, were there any comments that whenever anything happens, people always think they know everything about everything. And it's
about us not being friends.
We're like, oh my God, Claudia must have done something to Devorah. Like they broke up almost.
Yeah, no, I told her, I said, as much as I love being business partners, like you are my best friend first, and I never want something to come between us when it comes to like business. Like I don't want to become business partners and not be best friends, because like, it can be stressful when you're working with someone, especially someone that is your best friend or your family. So I told her that like when this all was kind of like unrolling and we were kind of deciding not to do it anymore, and I was just like explaining how I really feel like I couldn't give it my all. And I told her, I was like, if it becomes bigger and we make it more like serious than it is now, like I just feel like that's when opportunities open to, kind of have things happen between you as friends and business partners or whatever. So, I would just rather be best friends forever and not have to worry about like the stress of that's work
cool.
and business.
Yeah, I think it's hard not only to have partnerships with anyone, but especially if you're your best friend. As unfortunate it is that if like something happens to the business and there becomes animosity, like that is going to have carryover to your friendship.
Exactly.
And for you to put your friend,
I don't want that. Like
you put your friends above that, which is great.
We've been friends for like I think like 11 years, maybe even more now, and I wouldn't want that.
Would you call yourself BFFs?
Yes, of course, best friends forever.
Love that.
Forever and ever.
Okay, so you gave up the podcast because you have a lot of other things. Why don't you explain how do you make your money? What are your streams of revenue?
So I have YouTube, which obviously makes AdSense money. And I will say that's for a lot of people, like they make a shit ton of money from AdSense if they're doing really well, but that all depends on, views and everything and how often you post. So I try to post once a week, and my videos do pretty decent, I would say.
Decent, Claudia. You're you're underselling yourself.
You have to understand, I'm comparing myself to my brother and Jesse, who get million view videos all the time, and I'm over here with my 100K.
Yeah, but you're so something about your channel that stands out to me is that you're, and it's something that I wish I could do. Is like you seem so casual about your YouTube. You're just like, hey guys, I'm picking it up, I'm turning it on. Like I have a feeling. Now I don't like to put words in other people's mouths, but like I don't think you think about YouTube like your brother
Oh no.
or Jesse does, or even me. You're not thinking, all right, how's this shot going to be? What's like everything? You're just like, I'm going to go to Target. I think I'm going to show people what I got at Target today.
Yeah, my shots are like blurry. My little camera, I'll just set it up on the shelf in Target.
But as weird as it is, like where maybe someone like myself or Jesse it would like look at something and be like, oh, like you could have gotten this shot better. Like, oh, it's out of focus. But the way that you film your videos is a style. Like your casualness and your effortlessness of like how like into your life you're letting people is a type of style.
Yeah.
Is it hard, like the way you film your videos being compared to like your brother and stuff? Like, or do you look at like, oh, they're putting in so much effort, and then you put in like
minimal.
Yeah, but
it's not in a negative way. I understand.
It's not in a negative way because you're doing better than I am on YouTube. If anything, I need to put less effort into my videos. But it's like your style is that like, hey, life is like super raw.
I mean, I definitely will say, I'm not gonna lie, I watch your videos often. Like when I get the chance to, and I see them pop up on my. I'm subscribed, everybody. So when I do, I see them, and I'm like, man, I could be doing more. Like I could, get a nicer camera and get like cool shots like you do, like the creative transitions.
It's not worth it. Just keep doing what you're doing because you're crushing it. I didn't mean to go off on a side tangent, but you downplayed like your videos, like, oh, they only get like 100K views, but like you're doing extremely well.
Yeah.
So okay. So YouTube's a revenue source.
Yeah. So AdSense, obviously, and then what else? I have my Alphalete sponsorship,
which is new.
Yes, I get that. I have Alani Nu sponsorship.
Love that
as well. And then one of the biggest things is brand deals. Brand deals, it's crazy what brands will pay you to advertise their things.
What's the most amount of money you've ever made from a brand deal?
I think it was like 14K.
What?
It was a Sony brand deal. I think that was the one. It was either Sony or like a phone case brand deal.
A phone case?
Yeah. Some people are okay. This is a funny one. So on Instagram one time I did a sex toy brand deal, and
a sex toy, like a one of those things,
Not like one of those things, but
like
no, it was like this little thing. I'm not gonna get into it, but they were willing to pay me $7K for one Instagram photo of me holding. It was like this little pink sex toy thing.
What do you put the caption of that?
I think
hey girls, hate your boyfriend.
It was like a giveaway. So it was like, do you want to win free sex? They gave me the caption. The caption was just like, okay, do you want to win free sex toys or something like that? And I literally just took a selfie with me like holding this little thing, like funny. And my dad, I think he responded to it. And he was like, really? And then I told him, I was like, Dad, I made $7K from this. So yeah, really. And he was like, wow, like that's really good. But yeah, it's like, it's crazy what brands are willing to pay you. Yeah. And I think sex toy brand deals are, it's harder to find people that are willing to share that on social media because a lot of people are very, what's the word?
Lame,
but also just like they don't want to timid.
Have people think of you a certain way, maybe?
Just like when they're too scared to talk about like sex and vulgar things that, everybody actually talks about and thinks about in their own head, but they're just too afraid to show it on social media because it's just not like...
It's taboo.
Yeah, that's the word. Like it's taboo. And I just don't care. So,
okay.
Yeah. So I made my 7K from that. That was a good one.
If any sex toy brands want to sponsor this, I will put...
There's a lot of
I will put dildos on this podcast right now. Big dildos for... I'll do it for 7K too, right here. Give me the monster vibrator 9000, and maybe we'll gluck 9000.
That you'll get demonetized for having big penises on your thing. But there's a lot of like sex toy brand deals that will sponsor podcasts, like Adam and Eve, and I don't know. We did a few. I feel like for our podcast in the whole time that we did it. I think those are the four. Was that four streams of income? I can't really think of another one. I mean, I did have the podcast that was making just like a little bit of money. I'd make like, I think like total 4K a month from it, and we'd split it, so 2K a month. Yeah, it was just like an extra little bit of money, but yeah, I think that's pretty much it.
Can I ask you? So we've had some guests on here, some girls, and I want to ask this in the most like respectful way possible. Is there a reason why you didn't mention that like OnlyFans is something, you don't do that?
No,
And the only, before you answer, the only reason I ask is that generally it's not, nowadays, I guess it's more commonplace that maybe girls have them, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you see a lot of different reasonings why they do it. One of the things, not because you need to do crazy sexual things,
mm-hmm.
but I guess the enticing factor of a lot of girls maybe wanting to start it is that the money's on the table. It's available of like, hey, I'm going to post this content on Instagram. I could post on OnlyFans. Is there a reason is there a reason why you have not?
I think it really does give you a certain look. There's a stigma behind it. If you have an OnlyFans, I feel like everyone kind of like looks at you as like, oh, she's an OnlyFans, you know what I mean? And I'm also just not a very like, I post my photos in like the lounge underwear and stuff. Those are like brand deals that I do it, and they pay me to do it. So like my mom has an OnlyFans, and she'll be like, you're posting this and you could be making money from it. Like, why aren't you?
So your mom's pushing you to do OnlyFans?
Yeah, my mom. But she kind of just was like, you could be making so much money from this. But I'm like, but I am making money because a brand is paying me to do it. And I don't know. It's not my thing. I've never been into that. I don't want to deal with these horny men in my OnlyFans DMs. It would just literally be the photos that I already post on Instagram.
So if let's say a brand, let's say the lounge underwear company pays you whatever amount of money to post on your Instagram in lounge underwear. Mm-hmm. That's all you make is underwear, right?
Yeah, I think so.
So you're fine with doing that, but like just the stigma of the OnlyFans for you personally, if you were to post that same content on there, still getting money, but because of the platform, the things that are associated, the mindset associated with it, we'd be like,
yeah, I don't know. I want to be known as, a YouTuber. I don't want to be like, she's an OnlyFans model or anything. And then there's nothing, I don't think it's shameful. Like, I don't want anyone to think my mom has one, my best friend has one, and they have made some really good money. And I
bet
damn well that I would make some really good money, but it's just not all about the money for me. I'm proud of what I've created on YouTube, and I really enjoy posting the relaxing content that I post, and I make the relaxing TikToks that the aesthetic TikToks and things like that. And that's what I enjoy. I just don't care for the OnlyFans.
I guess it's interesting. And this is the last thing I'll say about this is, it's interesting your mindset about people don't want to talk about sex toys, but it's okay. People don't talk about sex. You're talking about their whole podcast was about sexual content, mm-hmm. but you don't want to post on OnlyFans.
Yeah, I don't know.
And I'm not pushing you. I don't it's just interesting because a lot of times and I don't want to say it's an easy thing for girls to do. I don't think it's easy. I think there's a lot of work that goes into mm-hmm. what people do, regardless of what they do on there. But I guess the upside to the money is it's right there.
I think when it comes to OnlyFans also, you can only post lingerie photos for so long before people are just going to be like, show more. Yeah. We want to see more. Show your boobs, show your butthole. And I'm never going to do that. Show your butthole. I'm never going to do that. I wouldn't feel comfortable for one. I'm not a very open person. I feel like when it comes to my body, I'll post these photos on Instagram, but in my opinion, they're tasteful and more aesthetic, and I try to make them classy. I don't show my nipples or anything like that. So, I would never be able to progress to that point, and eventually it would just get old. So I'm not just going to start it for 2 months to post what I post on Instagram for people to hate me for posting what I post on Instagram and ask for more. And I just know how it would go, and I just don't care for it.
I wouldn't feel comfortable showing my butthole on camera either.
Yeah.
So I completely understand what you're saying. But it's interesting to hear I've had some people on that, do it for whatever reason. And it's interesting to hear the kind of the opposite side of it.
I mean, I think it's amazing because, for example, my mom, I grew up with not a lot of money. There was a time where we were literally poor when I was kids, and my mom was shopping in the dollar store to buy us food. And she's always struggled with money because being an artist, it's not really that easy to make a lot of money when you're an artist.
The starving artist kind of
literally, that's what she'll say. And when we kind of got bigger on social media and she decided to make an OnlyFans, because my mom, she's kind of an out there person. She doesn't care. She's painted her own body and everything like that. And she's very open, and she decided to make one. And I am so happy that she did, because now she's comfortable and she can buy whatever she needs, and she can pay her bills. And she has 8 cats, so she buys everything for her 8 cats. She's a crazy cat lady. Yeah, she's a crazy cat lady. And I'm so like grateful for it in that aspect. But I think I want to have my social medias and keep working towards what I'm doing and make my money and make it big that way instead of like, I don't know. I just don't, with what comes with making an OnlyFans, I don't want like the responsibility of it. I don't want to post photos, like sexual photos for these men to look at.
Yeah.
That's not who I am. I'm not like, I feel like I've never been like comfortable necessarily with that. Like I have a lot of female followers on my Instagram. So like, I don't feel so bad posting, like I'm not posting it for a male audience. I'm posting it for like all my female followers that might want to buy lingerie or whatever the case. So that's just like how I look at it. I guess it's kind of like a weird thing, but like there really is, like I said, a stigma.
Look at me.
Sorry. You need like a blocker there. I just see the camera and I'm like, it's like a person. I look at it like an eye.
Hello. Well, that's cool. That's really interesting. It's cool hearing the kind of the other side of the spectrum of like people's thoughts on it, people for it, people not like again. You're not against it. Clearly,
no. I mean, there's people. Corinna Kopp. She's in David Dobrik's Vlogs, blonde. She made an OnlyFans and she's a streamer, so she already has like a big male audience. She's the one that's making like
millions of dollars a month.
Millions. She posted like a thing of the past, like I don't know, 7 months or something.
Sometimes it makes you're like, I want to do it.
Every month it was like multiple millions. Like she has probably I don't even know. She probably made $100 million or something on OnlyFans. It's insane. Or no, it was how much was she making? Yeah, I think it was like millions.
Definitely.
Insane. Like she is.
I will go on the record that I will show my butthole for $3 million a month.
But that's the thing. She is showing her butthole and her boobs. And like that's what I'm saying. Like she's making this money, but she's not just posting. Like people think like, oh, you can just go on and post in your bra and underwear and like something you would post on your Instagram story. You really can't.
You can for like a period of time.
Yes. And then you kind of have to expand or else you're just going to lose your subscriptions.
Yeah, like the crazy money goes up and then it starts going down and you're like, no, guys, come back. And
they want more and more and more and it's not enough. And then you're just like, oh my gosh, it's like
and you're competing with every other girl who's willing to do more and more and more. But okay, that's interesting. And I want to circle back kind of as we kind of get towards the end of this. Mm-hmm. With your whole social media world, it's been cool to hear kind of like your story and journey and how, your whole family's on social media. You started dating Mr. Jesse James West, the fastest growing fitness influencer in the space, taking over, hitting the trending page, collaborating with everyone under the sun.
Yeah.
And to be in a relationship, not only when you're on social media, to balance the dynamic of when to be on, when to be off, is interesting when only one person does it. Mm-hmm. But not only your whole family does social media, now your boo thing is heavy into social media and obsessed over it.
Oh yeah.
Right?
We get in our little things about that.
I know. I want to talk about that because like what's it like being an influencer, dating an influencer?
So I don't have an issue because like we talked about, I'm very casual with my videos, with my vlogs. And for example, coming here, I was like, okay, maybe I'll vlog it. But then the morning of, it was so stressful, like trying to get to the airport. I was like, fuck this, I'm not doing it. Whatever, I'm just gonna go and do what I'm going there to do. And that's it. Mm-hmm. Jesse, for example, we went on a trip to Aruba. And I know he's laughing behind me. And this trip was designated for no filming, okay? I was like, let's go on this trip, and I just want it to be me and you, no cameras, no vlogging, because it's not that he changed when he's filming, but it's almost like having a third person with us, and that third person is the camera. And he's like giving this camera more attention than he's giving me, and I'm just like, it's like I'm just trailing on behind, and I don't want to deal with that. So we decided not to film on this Aruba trip, and he brings a backpack. And we go through security and he's like, I'm surprised I didn't get stopped or something. And I'm like, why would you get stopped for your backpack? And I didn't even ask because I already knew in my head. I'm like, he has cameras in there. Yeah. He brought his cameras. And we get to Aruba and, sure enough, I'm right. All the cameras are in the backpack.
Whips out tripod and everything.
And about I think it was the second day or something, he pulls out his camera and he's like he didn't start vlogging, but he's looking at me, giving me this look like, let me vlog. Like, let's just vlog, like whatever. And I ended up getting upset. And I actually started crying because I was so frustrated. Like when I'm really frustrated, I start crying. Yeah. And I was like, you don't understand. Like we're on this trip. And if you can't spend 4 days with me without this camera, like this isn't going to work. And I said that to him and he got like kind of scared.
Do you think that if Jesse's style of video was maybe more your style, where it's just like, hey, it's very casual. This is what we're doing, rather than kind of like amping up personality. Do you think that'd be like an easier way to film honestly, all the time?
Maybe, but no, just because
he's probably like, hey, get in this shot. All right, like get over here. All right, like, hey, you guys, I'm here with Claudia.
Yeah, literally. Like, but even me, when I'm filming, it does really take away your attention. You kind of have to like focus on that too. Like you have to be like, okay, like let me make sure I'm not forgetting to take the camera out, and you're talking to this camera and everything. It's just, I feel like it's so much more stress-free and relaxing when you can simply just not do any of it. Like for us, that is work, and people go on vacation to not work. So, you know, I don't want any of it. Like I just want to, it's 4 days, like we can enjoy. And it ended up being a really great 4 days because he put his camera away and we didn't have to worry about that.
After he had a good cry.
After I cried and he apologized and said sorry and whatever else. But every once in a while, I feel like I have to like remind him, like, you know, we can't just film everything. And also I feel like he'll come to a time where he's like panicking to get a video and he's like, I don't have enough videos in the tank. I need more. Like I need to film something. And I'm like, you need to chill out. Like you're not just going to film us doing on our trip or on our vacation. Like we went to visit Jersey and you did the same thing. And I'm like, we're not here for that. Like it's not working out. Like you can't do that, you know? So I don't know.
It's really interesting because like he's so stressed out about YouTube, and you know, his videos get crazy views. But let's say a terrible video for him gets like 400K. He's cringing in the back. He's like, only 400,000.
I know.
But like where you like, you're so casual with your YouTube, which still does, I mean, Claudia, like your videos, a trash video for you would be like 120, 130, right? You have so many videos that go like 200 and you're just like, hey, it's okay. I'll film tomorrow. Like I'll casual. And it's interesting seeing the different mindsets of like the casual influencer that's still crushing it, making a ton of money, you know, not letting it consumer life.
Yeah.
You know, it does, like, that's how you make your livelihood. But I would say social media for you doesn't consume your
I mean, I don't make like schedules and things like that. I don't, you know, if I wake up one day and I want to film, I'll film. And if I wake up and I'm like, you know, I'm not in the best mood, I don't think I should, I won't. I try not to like force it because I don't want it to make it into something that I don't enjoy. Like I really do enjoy it. I love talking to the camera and like showing the little things I bought at the store and whatever else. It's just like, it's what I watched as a child.
I admire that because like I think probably your boyfriend, Jesse, has the kind of mindset of like, when you go down this rabbit hole on social media, like if I could have a piece of advice for you, I know like it's crazy like me saying this because your YouTube channel is doing better than mine, right? But I've been doing it for a long time.
Yeah.
But I've let YouTube consume me. Like it's like you've seen like Venom on Spider-Man.
Yeah.
You know, like the thing goes in him and it turns out that's like me with
like
YouTube.
Vecna.
I am like Vecna. I'm in the upside down world all the time.
Yeah.
Because it's consumed my thoughts. And if I had an advice for you, even though you're doing great, is like just, it's like Billy Madison. It's like stay in school forever. Yeah. Don't ever get older. Like you, it's like keep that casualness you're doing with YouTube, like because it's like a pure YouTube. Yeah. And I never want you to get to that mindset of like obsessing over
I mean,
it.
I will say there was a point where I was a little bit too casual. Like I wasn't really, you know, focusing on it enough so that I could continue to grow it.
It makes you feel like you're lazy because you're so casual with it.
But then, you know, started dating Jesse and he's the way he is and it rubbed off just a little bit, just enough. So I, you know, try to be more consistent. And one of the things that is really amazing that I learned, which I never would have done in the past, is I always made fun of Brandon, my brother, and Jesse for this, is if you change your title and thumbnail, if the video is not doing well, it really will make a difference. So recently I posted a video where I like reviewed Skims, which is Kim Kardashian swimwear versus Kylie Jenner swimwear. I saw it
and it didn't do very well in the beginning.
No,
right? I saw
it was shadow banned, and YouTube doesn't tell you that it does this stuff, but it was just doing terrible, literally terrible. And I was like, what is going on? Like, it makes no sense. Like I have posted videos like this in the past and they've done well, and I expected it to at least do decent, you know, not like a hard 10 out of 10. And he kept telling me change the title and thumbnail. 5 days later, I was like, fine, I make a new thumbnail. That's not
5 days later?
5 days later.
Jesse and I are like
20 minutes later.
10 minutes later, changing it. Oh, it hasn't changed.
That's what I have to tell him because I'm like, you have to understand, like sometimes you need to give videos time. But anyway, 5 days later, I decided to change the title and thumbnail. And I'm not kidding, within 30 minutes, the graph of the live view count went from 140 to 1,400. Like
You're like
insane.
Dogecoin spike.
Like it literally was like here and then here. And I'm like, oh my gosh. And then within 24 hours, it went up to a 5 out of 10 instead of a 10 out of 10. And I was just like, wow.
I wish. My last 2 uploads, both deep 10 out of 10s. And my most recent one is a deeper 10 out of 10 than my last 10 out of 10. It just makes me want to smash my face into the mic.
Yeah, but I also feel like you have a very dedicated audience to watch your videos. Like even if they don't watch right away, they come around and watch it eventually. It's just better when they get their time to. So like, it's a really good thing that it's not like your videos are like you get 20K and then 100K. You know, you get a consistent view count.
Yeah.
And that's really good.
It's just that last 20% I have to trick them to make them think that I'm dying or that I've sold my house or that I haven't had to do the me and my girlfriend are breaking up one yet. I don't think she'll like that. I know, me and Jesse make jokes about that stuff, but I always tell him too, I'm just like, sometimes it just takes time. Like people are busy, you know, they come around when they can. What do you mean their life doesn't revolve around when I upload a YouTube video?
And it's just, I don't know, not everything's like can be clickbait. You can only have so much drama in your life to clickbait. So
trust me, when I look at your channel as like when you say of like the minimal like effortless type of thing, like I wish I could do that. And like maybe a part of you are like, you could just like, hey Max, what did you do today? I'm like, oh, I went to like Target and shopped with my girlfriend, be like shopping with my girlfriend at Target. But in my head, I'm like, I would never in a million years title my video that, but maybe I need to start and go that way.
Yeah, honestly, I've realized there's a lot of people on YouTube lately that have been titling their videos exactly what they're doing in the video, like long title.
I think, to be honest, I don't know if this is, I think it's girls can do that easier than guys.
Yeah, I'm sure because we have like that aesthetic girl type thing where like there's a whole TikTok community that's kind of like the same way.
Yeah.
And it's just, you write like, let's go to Target and shop for fall decor.
If I did that, it would be, it would go YouTube. I'll get an alert and it would just go, congratulations, we've actually unlocked a new rating. You're now, we've now added because your video is doing so bad. But okay, so you guys balance it well and the dynamics is there, even though I'm sure Jesse has Jesse ever said to you, can we not film this?
No.
He's probably like, heck yeah.
If I'm like, here, film this for me, he like takes the camera, will start vlogging things for me, whatever. But it's just like not often. But we've definitely found like a really good balance. And I think if you're on social media dating, you really do need a good balance between time off of it and then have your time on it.
I'm glad you found that balance. And one thing that I want to end this interview with is probably the question that the world wants to know. Why do you like cats so much?
Like, where is this going?
You said your mom has 8 cats. You're a cat lady.
Yeah, I have 2 and I love them so much.
That's like too many. People are going to attack me for this. I need you.
Because you have a dog. I feel like depending on what you have, like, have you ever had a cat?
Back in the day.
Like what? Like it was your family's cat?
It was a cat. I don't know. It probably came out of the woods. I lived in like the country.
You've never had like your own cat. They are like the most loyal, loving creatures.
Why are you lying?
And they're clean because they never go outside. So they always smell good.
I do like about cats is that you're like, oh, I need to go away for a week. Here's a week's worth of food. See you later.
Oh, I do not do that. There's someone sleeping at my house watching my cats.
What?
That's the thing. People are like, oh, can you come like for the athlete photo shoot? They're like, are you good these days? And I'm like, hold on, I gotta get my pet sitter.
That's the whole thing about cats is
no, they're like my babies. Like I literally have a friend sleeping there with them, feeding them, playing with them, sending me photos every day.
When I think about cats, I think cats like they hate everyone. You pick them up and they're just like, Meh.
I'm telling you, you don't understand. You have never had a loyal, loving cat. You need one.
Do you take your cats for walks?
No, I don't take them outside in that dirty world. They stay in my apartment.
Let me ask you this. If your cat, if they somehow got out, do they love you enough that they would be like, Mom, I'm staying by the door? Or are they like, fuck this, I'm out?
No, they don't go. Like I have a balcony and they like don't even dare come near. They watch me walk out the front door, but they won't try to like
If they went outside, do you think they would run away forever?
They're like indoor cats. They probably get hit by a car.
Okay.
I don't think they'd know where to go. It's like an apartment. They would be so scared. Like they're not used to that life. They don't go out. I mean, I take them into the vet and the carrier and that's it. They're not like you can let Dude out into your neighborhood and he'll know to like come back home because he's used to being outside and everything.
Dude would never leave. That's what's interesting is Dude doesn't have a collar. Like there's no number or anything on his neck. And some people would look at that and be like, well, that's like reckless. Like what if he gets out? I'm like, I can't even begin to understand a situation where Dude would not be with me. It would be because someone let him out. And even then he wouldn't go anywhere. I was like, Dude never leaves my side.
Yeah.
Like he doesn't. Mm-hmm. If he's away from me, it'd be weird. If I'm in my house and he's not in the room I'm in, it's strange. Like,
yeah.
Which is interesting. So So are you not a dog person?
No, I mean, I had dogs growing up. My dad has a little dog, that kind of looks like Felix, honestly. She's a girl, but, she's like a little thing. But we had golden retrievers growing up. He had a chocolate lab. And so I love dogs, but it's just, I live in an apartment and people might not like me for saying this, but I think it's selfish if you have a dog in a small apartment, especially big dogs. There's people in my building that have, what are the dogs called with the pointy ears that I go up?
Doberman?
Yeah. A guy has a Doberman in an apartment building. And I'm like,
yeah,
they need a yard. They need room. And if I don't have that to give, like, I'm not going to have an animal and keep it in this little space. And
cats like the opposite. They just want to do nothing all day and lay there.
Yeah. They just sleep and hang around, and they love the apartment because I have big windows. They can look out and like watch the cars and everything. And yeah, they're just my little babies.
And have you ever taken your 2 cats over to your mom's 8 cats?
No, cats don't like that. They're not like, they don't have like play dates. Like they'll like hiss. And like when I got my new cat, my cat that I already had was like hissing and growling, and they're territorial. Like they like their territory, their space.
So normally you'd be like, oh my God, I got a new puppy. Let me bring it over to yours. Someone like, oh, I have a cat. Be like, no, I don't want.
Yeah. My sister has them, and like, we wish we could have play dates, but no.
See, in my head, I'm like, yeah, I love my cats. They just can't hang out with any other cats. World. I can't take them out.
Well, there is people that have cats that take them for walks on like leashes and things.
That's weird.
It depends on how you raise them, but like I wouldn't feel comfortable because there's like big dogs out there that would like eat them, attack them.
Or like falcons that are flying around.
There was a, like Devora had this happen in her neighborhood. A huge bull mastiff got let off his leash somehow, some way, and killed a little dog that was like walking with his parents.
Not ideal.
It's terrifying. Like,
yeah.
Because you never know. Like, I feel like dogs like that have bad, like they have a different temperament. Like they'll just snap out of nowhere.
You know, this is a completely unrelated thing, but I want to tell you a story that one time I was walking dude late at night, and I do the same little loop around my neighborhood, and there's always like deer, right? And one time I get to the corner where I do my normal walk, and I look over in the yard, and I'm like, oh, there's 2 like deer in this yard, which is like normal, whatever. And then I'm like looking at them, like, wait a second, like those aren't deer. I start realizing they're 2 big Rottweilers. 2 big Rottweilers. It's like 10 o'clock at night. And they're like, they start staring at me. And I'm like, oh shit. And not saying all Rottweilers are going to attack, right? But I'm like, I'm in the middle of the night. These 2 dogs are out. 2 big ass Rottweilers. They start trotting over me. And I'm like starting to freak out because I'm like, holy shit. Like, where's this dog's owners? And it's just me and dude. And it's like pitch black. And I'm at the point like, where you saying this mastiff, these dogs started trotting over, and I'm starting like walking with dude, and like thankfully like someone started like screaming down the road, like yelling after the dogs like to come back, and they turn around. But like I went through a state of panic. Like, I mean, that person attacked the dog, but like I'm like, if these dogs came over to dude, I was like, I don't know what I would do. I was like, I think I would hold dude in the air and just start like kicking these. I'm like, I don't know what I would
literally
do.
Don't know what to do.
I'd be like, attack me. I'll hold dude in my hair.
There's like nothing. Like this family, when it happened, Devora had like security cameras, so she got it. It was like right in front of her house, and she showed me, and the dad is like grabbing the dog and like trying to pull him out of the mouth of this big dog, and he's like, it was such a scene. And then they're hitting the big dog with a shovel, and it's just not letting up.
I mean, it's yeah. I mean, I've seen these videos. I don't know. I don't know what would come through me if a dog ever started attacking dude, but it would not end well for the other. I don't know what I would do. I just go into rage mode. I would
literally because he's your baby.
Yeah, exactly. But you never have to worry about that with your cats because you never take them on walks.
No, they're staying inside where it's safe and clean.
Crazy cat lady.
Yep.
Claudia Walsh.
That's me.
What's next for you?
What's next? I don't know. I just take it one day at a time.
Yeah.
You know, when the opportunities come and. You know, slowly. So, I mean, it's cool now that I have sponsorships. I didn't have that before. I met Jesse and got a lot of connections.
Yeah.
That was good.
Well, congrats on the new Alpha Elite one. You're here in Houston, Texas. That's how this all came to fruition yesterday.
Yeah.
So super cool to see you continue to level up, doing crazy things on social. And yeah, I want to thank you so much for coming on the show.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah,
it's
absolutely.
Cool.
And then after this, you can go back. Is it still cold in Maryland?
It's like 65.
No, it's about to. Maryland gets cold.
Yeah, like 15 degrees.
Don't miss that about Virginia.
January. Yeah, that's one thing I don't like, but it's all right. I'll survive.
Well, cool. I'm going to put all of Claudia's information, or YouTube and Instagram. You don't have. There's not.
I got TikTok.
TikTok. How many followers do you have on TikTok?
That's actually my highest social media following. I have like almost 800K on there.
What?
Yeah. It's really easy to grow on TikTok.
But you're not, besides like maybe some brand deals, you're not making like any money from TikTok.
No.
Yeah. I looked at my creator fund and I have like,
they won't even I'm like trying to get in it, and every time there's some sort of website error, and I'm like, oh, ironic.
I have like 7 or 8 million likes on there, and a lot of my views get like some crazy pop off. I look at my creator fund, I'm like, how much money do I got in my TikTok creator fund? It's like $600.
I know. I don't know how
what
people.
The fuck is this?
I'm guessing people make a living on there just because of brand deals. I don't get TikTok brand deals though.
Yeah. You know, it's super side tangent, but you know, YouTube Shorts, right? Everyone, there was a podcast I watched because YouTube Shorts, people are getting crazy views.
Yeah.
There was a guy that had, I think he had 8 million monthly views on his shorts, and his check for shorts. Now they're about to change that, but I think it was like $50.
Yeah, I heard they're monetizing shorts now like a different way or something, so you can make a lot of money.
You gonna get on that? Jesse, you getting on that?
I don't know. My brother told me to.
I hate the aesthetic of it, to be honest. Like,
it's so ugly.
I hate it.
That's why I don't want to do it.
On my feed, I'm like,
it looks like spam, and I don't want to click it because of that.
I hate it.
They need to fix the thumbnail aspect of it. It looks terrible.
I wish they would just be like, let me have a subscriptions for shorts and then regular. I hate
one
it.
that is like an iPhone framing of the photo. I know that's the one reason that has stopped me from doing it. It looks terrible.
I agree.
So,
but other than that, Claudia, thank you so much for coming on. Make sure you check out all of our social linked down below. If you guys are watching this on YouTube, make sure you comment, like, subscribe, hit that notification bell. New episodes every single Monday, 9 a.m. Eastern time. What's
your saying? And don't be sour.
It's thank you so much for tuning in.
Oh yeah, tuning in.
Eat more sour strips and ever forward. See you later. That was lovely.
That was lovely.
I think we were good on time too. Yeah, it's a nice little hour and a half episode.
Except that I stared into the camera. They're all gonna think I'm looking in their eyes.
First ever episode, we dive into why cats are better than dogs.
It feels like now I feel like I have bad hair now.
I know.
I like take them off.
I like this world so much better. This sounds so much nicer.